and welcome back to the ScareCount at nemothegeek, where we keep count of the scares so you can enjoy your horror movie knowing what to expect and when. We also rate and discuss them for our horror aficionados, from cheap thrills to holy shit, my heart just popped out of my chest. Overall, a pretty good time. So, small disclaimer, as I said in my weapons fear file review, my mic is a little echoey today, so my chipmunk voice, someone pointed out in my short, is gonna sound a little echoey in today's video. I'm your host Naim Ahmed, and today we are looking at weapons, and oh boy, should we be looking at weapons, because it doesn't ease us into the movie, it straight up launches us into a creep scare. The child's voice is calm, matter of fact, but still with traces of innocence in the dialogue, calling the authorities big people and using the word like a lot, and using sentences like to make people less sad or something, talking about a grief counseling session. It's eerie and it's a solid opener. I like it. I mean, I'd settle for matricidal Stewie from Family Guy and psychopath Louise from Bob's Burgers as children if I wasn't child-free. But if I had a kid and he or she ever started a bedtime story like this, I'm just packing my bags and moving out of there. So come on kids, let's take a walk and run through this chilling creep scare together, hand in hand. But I did see the poster, so you know what happened if you saw the poster, and I know what happened, and that's all the intro we need for this movie.
This is a true story. It happened right here in my town 2 years ago. A lot of people die in a lot of really weird ways in this story, but you're not going to find it in the news or anywhere like that, because the police and the top people in this town were so embarrassed that they weren't able to solve it that they covered everything all up. But if you come here and ask anyone, they'll all tell you the same thing that I'm going to tell you now. This story starts in my school. Maybrook Elementary is kindergarten through 5th grade. So this one Wednesday is like a normal day for the whole school. And they had this teacher who was new. Her name was Justine Gandy. And on this day, she was going to her classroom just like every morning. But today was different. Today, none of her kids were there. Every other class at that school had all their kids. Even the other 3rd grade Mrs. Belt taught was full. But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty. Well, not totally. There was one boy there, and his name was Alex Lilly. And he was the only kid in the class of 18 that came to school that day. And do you know why? He was the only one there, because the night before, at 2:17 in the morning, every other kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs, opened the front door, walked across the front yard and into the dark, and they never came back.
However, how it happens is another creep scare. I mean, look at these uniform airplane positions that are running in. So giddy, so free of the American public school system. Oh boy, is it another creep scare moment, because look at how they are running as Beware of Darkness plays in the background towards something unknown. But it's not unknown. It's a bilingual title card. So, no, I didn't have to Google that. Danke. My accent may be terrible, but I know the language. I postponed watching Aliens with my husband for this, and it was worth it. In fact, if you haven't watched this movie, go watch it now and come back to the video. And I know you'll come back because, you're not one of the 17 kids who disappeared. So let's be optimistic here. Right? You're coming back, right? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Just so we know, going in, it's a thin plot, a weak plot. But the way it's told is what makes Weapons so extraordinary. I was engaged throughout, even when nothing was happening. Sure, you follow certain characters and go back in times a lot to see things unfold from their perspective, but that helps us feel like investigators. So first, we have the teacher, Miss Justine Gandy, and here is how we establish whose story we are following at that time. After the incident, Justine becomes a town punching bag, and honestly, like I said in my review, I get it. You're a parent, you see your child running out inexplicably at night and never coming back, and hers being the only class being targeted. The other exception is a literal kid, and we all know kids never lie, ever, or fall victim to blackmail, right? The principal tells her to lay low for the night or stay with someone for her own safety, as one or more of the parents may try something, and there are 34 of them. So they may try something tonight. After a suspense-heavy moment where we travel right behind Justine, just watching the back of her head, it feels like we're the ones who are creeping and stalking Justine. It's just the right camera angles and the right way to showcase how everyone's eyes are on her. It's a beautiful little touch there, and that camera angle continues until she gets a threatening phone call, which makes us feel like, okay, we're not the ones stalking Justine, the parents are. Then she gets a ding dong ditch, and then a knock knock ginger that at least jump scares her, so I'm putting that on the count.
Jesus fucking what?
Because yeah, that would freak me out, especially if everyone was out to get me. Turns out the prankster took his tips from Salem and marked a card with the word witch in real unwashable paint. Jeez. Miss Candy, however, only wants to talk to Alex, but she's been denied several times. But we find later out she has a history of crossing boundaries, so we know she's not gonna let this thing slide. And his house looks like a hermit prepping for doomsday. Like the windows are all boarded up with newspapers, and she then peeks in through one crack in the newspapers. But before we count this jump scare, I would like to say that this movie excels in making you believe, yeah, we're launching a jump scare at you, but also sneakily getting the timing wrong. It primes you to be aware, feel like it's maybe a false alarm, a fake out, catch you vulnerable, and then hits you with a jump scare. I will warn you about that. For those faint of heart, beware that don't let your guard down. I was so sure that something was gonna look back at her when she looked in, but no. So peeking in, she doesn't see fishy activity except, oh, are those statues or actual people? I love how much silence plays a part in this movie as a character itself. We can hear the twigs under her boots, we can hear silence just surround us as we do human things. There's no other soundtrack other than the aftermath or during a jump scare or a creep scare. So it's more into elevated horror territory. It doesn't do jump scares that much. So yeah, it does seem like it just came out of the Hereditary pop-up book, but this is jump scare. After being creep scared from the Hereditary pop book, again I qualify this as a creep scare out of a pretty heavy nightmare. At this point we should have posters of There's Something Wrong with Alex instead. And why are you still sitting in the pitch dark, woman? Oh, so we can get this clown jump scare when you lie back down. This was a solid 8 out of 10. Justine calls the principal, warning him of possible child neglect, and follows Alex despite Alex firmly yelling at her not to follow him. That doesn't deter her though. After knocking at his door, Justine starts spying on Alex's house like it's her new favorite Netflix series. She parks outside, falls asleep in her car after drinking too much with the doors unlocked. Lady, you live in a town where mobs want you burnt at the stake. Maybe hit the lock button just once. To no one's surprise, when she falls asleep, we get a heavy creep scare of Alex's mom coming out of the house at night with what I thought was a knife, but turns out to be scissors. When Alex's mom just gets into the back seat, cuts a lock of her hair off. Justine, you know the town is out to get you. No time for a liquor-fueled melatonin sleep in an unlocked car right now, because she doesn't even wake up from all of this. We then move to another character and go back in time a bit. But this will be a recurring theme, so work with me here, alright? It's Archer Graff, a bully construction firm owner father whose kid Matthew was also a bully to Alex. We see the fallout of the incident from two couples' eyes here. How they choose to go. I find that very interesting. While he obsesses every morning, has a ritual over ring cam footage, playing it over and over and over again, Justin Long and his wife can't even bear to watch it. And I understand both perspectives. We also see he was the one who was terrorizing Justine and painting her car that night. Despite that, this one man is doing a better job of connecting the dots than the entire police department. Look at that, he even managed to find a pattern from two ring cams and hone in on an area. Then we are pulled deep inside literal nightmare fuel with Creepscare after Creepscare as Archer Graff is experiencing that nightmare. So are we, and look at that, a hybrid gun alarm clock. So either your kid is in a sweatshop making weapons, being hunted by those weapons, or maybe he is a weapon. He loops back to his house, finding his son in his bed, and I was primed, I was ready, I was so ready for this jump scare, or so I thought.
Talk to me.
Wrong movie, bro. I was so not ready for this jump scare because I was sure any moment as he was talking to Matthew before his breakdown, I was sure we would get a response from the catatonic kid in the bed here. Something was gonna happen when he was yelling, and but not mid breakdown, not while I was emotionally invested and I had my walls down, not when he was crying and I'm feeling feelings. And then we see Ronald McDonald's bastard child's face instead of Matthew, shocking both us and Archer out of the nightmare. Archer, I think when the spirit appears, you have to say, I let you in. 10 out of 10 for this jump scare. The next day brings us to a bizarre creep scare out of fucking nowhere. As Archer sees Justine's car at the gas station, hard not to spot a car you painted witch on. Ignorance. Anyways, they're having an argument, and out of nowhere comes Principal Marcus, but he's all zombified, eyes bulging, blood on his face, goo and ectoplasm on his face, mouth, and honed in on Justine as a heat-seeking missile. Oh my stars. The unexpectedness of this earns full points with no context yet, so 10 out of 10. We then move to Paul, who we find out is sober now and is together with his wife, so he lied to get laid. Tale as old as time, no jump scares or creep scares in this story, so we're gonna skip the cheating trash bag and move on to James, the drug, the one he practiced some good old police brutality on. Turns out he is out of his stuff and we see him looking for money, loans, empty houses, anything he can steal to curb his cravings. And we see his run-in with Paul, the cheating cop, who tells him never to come to the station to report him, and he will not arrest him. Solid policing there, Paul, just solid. So guess what house James chooses to break and enter into? Yeah, the one that looks like a hermit's nest. Maybe choose the neighbors to rob. I know you want your next bump soon, but are you desperate enough to get killed for it? Are you? And sure enough, it's a whole vibe in the dark house with silence as his partner, save for a few thumps from the upstairs and a few whispers in the basement. He gets Creepscared, hereditary style, by Alex's catatonic parents, just chilling on the sofa. He still goes around looting. My dude, you can get canned soup and more at another house. Just get the silverware and run. Do the unresponsive puppet people not scare you? Instead, James, who has probably never read House of Leaves, says let's do a dive deeper into the house, aka the basement, which he thinks holds hidden treasures. Well, in a way it does, in the form of $50,000, because he just found the missing kid. The only problem is the catatonic parents you dismissed a minute ago are now chasing you. Now this scene I was watching late at night and it's just so damn silent. He's undoing the door chain and a sudden noise of rain. I was watching at full volume, so it just pounded down and I was like, okay, good sound scare. I was appreciating it. I wasn't scared. But mini jump scare 3 out of 10. I love the sound design. But as Alex's mom shut the door with a loud thud in the movie, that is the exact moment my brother chose to open my room's door with equal enthusiasm and made me jump out of my skin. So in this context, I'd give it full marks because I was like, dude, what are you doing? What do you need? My brother though just came looking for something in my mini fridge, almost ended up giving me a heart attack as I was very immersed in this movie. But yeah, back to James. He wants the reward but has to come into the police station or no reward. Paranoid Paul thinks he came to report him, so let's practice more police brutality and intimidation here. This guy is less law enforcement, more low quality supervillain sidekick energy. He doesn't even qualify as a supervillain or a normal villain. He's the guy who accidentally hands the villain the wrong wrench or something. James runs to his spot in the woods, and since he saw the kids all catatonic and standing in the basement, he's a loose thread. So we see Clownface waving at him, 10 out of 10 creep scare, not even gonna pretend it's anything, but he hides in his tent because nothing can get him in his tent. It's like a blanket, safety blanket. So then someone starts pulling the tent open slowly, as one does, I'm sure, in real life when trying to catch a harmless drug addict. So James grabs 3 needles and turns out it's Police Academy reject Paul. Sir, you are an officer of the law. Why are you pulling the tent open slowly like your ghost face? Of course you'll be greeted with needles to the face. That's just lunacy. Just stand outside his tent and ask him to come out. He's a drug addict, not a drug lord. I mean, trust me. Trust me, he's more afraid of you than you are of him. That's what my parents tell me about bugs. But anyway, more police brutality ensues when he opts to shoot him until he divulges he found the kids. That's enough for Paul to eschew all protocol, forget backup. He's gonna be discount Rambo, taking James with him to a ride to Alex's house. And course he doesn't return. Why would he? Not until it's night time, not until it's jump scare time. And this is a 7 out of 10 jump scare, and he pulls the poor boy inside with him as well. You're a disgrace to the uniform, Paul. At this point, just take the uniform off and walk into the ocean. Ouch. Now we are all back to Marcus receiving that aforementioned call from Justine, shopping with his partner, living that domestic life. He calls in Alex's parents to see if the kid is being neglected, but who turns up? Where have I seen this woman before? Turns out his parents are not well.
Oh, so it's serious.
Oh, no, it's not serious. Nothing terminal. It's just a touch of consumption.
But Aunt Gladys is here on their behalf to meet the principal, but she's not a guardian. And Marcus insists to meet the parents on Monday, or it will be CPS knocking on their door next. Now Auntie Gladys can't have that. She side-eyes his ribbon and steps out. But the next day, as we are being treated to a delightful documentary on brain parasites on ants, while Marcus and his partner enjoy lunch, Gladys turns up at his house and turns domestic bliss into a murder scene. We all were on the same page that voodoo was involved, right? I mean, I didn't need to say that when Justine's hair was cut. So after showing us in a very disturbing way how the spell works, she cuts his partner's lock of hair and makes Marcus give him some head. No, not that kind of head. And then he turns his murderous rage towards Justine with another bit of magic. Now we get the full context of what happened. We've come full circle, baby! And yeah, I'm crashing, seriously. Sorry. But Justine, with the help of Arthur, manages to get away and drive off. Marcus running after Justine on a busy road. Him running after her on a busy road, same way the kids ran off. And it's daytime and it's traffic. He crosses the road and gets barreled over and his head is crushed. Nice little creep scare there with a touch of very nice gore. And oh, poor Marcus, he did nothing wrong. That's so sad. Neither did Terry, except invite Gladys in. Then Archie and Justine make their peace, and he shows her their research when she points out Alex's house is in the place he marked on his map. Now we get to the juiciest part. Alex's story. His story takes us all the way back before the beginning. He's quiet and shy but smart, has a great relationship with his father, good home life, but in comes Aunt Gladys, and at our first look at her, we can easily agree with his father that, yeah, she'll be gone by the end of the month. Very easy to identify. Revealed to us in a very unsettling creep scare when Alex chooses to take a peek at her. Days go by, we see his daily routine until one day his dad never comes to pick him up from school. And we get our second creep scare. His mother and father having an ominous table conversation, a non-verbal conversation, and a newly renewed Aunt Gladys offering him mac and cheese. Kid doesn't want mac and cheese, he wants his dad back. But that's not happening, kiddo. I'm so sorry. Next morning, the manipulation, the gaslighting, and blackmail starts. That trifecta. First, gaslighting. Then some dash of manipulation.
Are you watching?
And then straight up blackmail. That if he tells anyone she can, what are you doing to yourself? Stop. Your mommies didn't stay up all night when you had the chicken pox and you won't scar your pretty faces. Like you're undoing all of that hard work right now. 10 out of 10 creep scare for the blackmail. Oh, this scene is spooky as fuck. I love it. Alex falls into the blackmail and is now a different kind of puppet for her without having to do any voodoo magic at all. She has leverage. Why would she need magic? Feeding his parents, boarding up the house, covering up crimes, bringing his classmates' personal belongings to her for voodoo magic. You know, the usual. She needs the kids because the parents' life force isn't cutting it anymore. They're adults. She needs little kiddo life force. Anyway, Alex now has 19 people to feed soup to on a daily basis until one day he runs into Paul, who doesn't creep scare him, but James does. It's a 2 out of 10 creep scare. I call it creep scare because this is again a very hereditary type scenario, especially the people in the shadow spot is very reminiscent of that. He tells him to pack and not to step over the salt barrier, his parents acting as a personal security guards right in front of the door and behind the salt barrier. Alex is good at math, which is probably why he showed up at school that day. I'm just saying. So he puts 2 and 2 together and knows she will be moving, but he won't be. So we get another creep scare when Justine and Archer are standing outside his home, Alex watching from the window, and Paul beckons them in. Yeah, very normal thing to do. Very normal way to do it. Sure, I'd follow that without calling 911 or any sort of backup first, or without arming myself with even a tire iron or anything. Excellent decision making all around. And yeah, I was right. Another salt barrier holds Paul and James, reserved for Justine and Archer respectively. As soon as Justine steps on the salt barrier, maybe just look around, be self-aware without moving. First, Justine. But here the movie shows us that invading boundaries is just not a figurative state of mind for her. It's also a literal thing for her as she steps on the salt barrier. And we get another jump scare. As soon as Justine steps on the salt barrier, Paul jumps on her. It's 4 out of 10 jump scare. We all knew it was coming. And James is just activated on Archer without any prompting. While the fight ensues downstairs, Alex stands up for himself for once. And it's a gut-wrenching jump scare, which I will give a higher score, even though we expect it to happen. And he steps over the salt barrier willingly. It's his own parents chasing him to kill him. And that gut wrench I haven't felt since Mike Flanagan made something, and it's just his signature move. This parallels a lot of that energy. So now there are 2 different fights going on, one downstairs with the 4 adults and one upstairs with the parents after their own child. And time to get on the roller coaster of jump scares and creep scares, because these chase and fight scenes are chock full of them. Alex's mom crashes through a portion of the door, jump scares him, just knocks it down with her own fists, and he just keeps evading them, though Alex being too smart to die, like Krebs said in Jurassic Park. Another jump scare comes his way as his dad comes in from an open space on the right. Creep scare when Justine shoots Paul through the neck, but he keeps on choking her. The creep scare for when Archer sees the kids in the basement just standing still while fighting James. Justine saves him by throwing a headshot James's way, and he is dead. And a sudden jump scare from Gladys as Archer is searching for his kid with a flashlight, and she pops up instead and grabs his lock. Another jump scare for Alex when both parents bash through another door with their fists and he finds another bathroom to hide in. Is this really House of Leaves? I was just kidding, man. But Alex has learned a trick from his great aunt Gladys. All the time he saw her use the spell, he takes a branch from her special tree, wraps her hair around it, casts the spell, and sends the mindless horde of 17 children towards her. Yeah, you go, Alex. Yeah, give her a taste of her own medicine for once. I'll add another creep scare, 10 out of 10, for the revelation that they run the way they do, arms wide and steps short, because that is exactly how she runs. They mirror the way she runs. That is how much they are tied to her. So creepy. As exciting the prospect of Gladys's getting her due is here, the execution of this This scene is just hilarious. I mentioned in my Fear Files review, the hilarity stops when they finally get her and lynch her. And you know what, Gladys? You deserve this shit. You wanted immortality at the expense of young children who still remain catatonic after 2 years, by the way, and there's no hope of who will recover when or if some will ever recover. Anyway, I say you got your retribution. The very people you took life force from took your life away from you, and that is what I call poetic justice. However, even though her death frees her victims, all but Archer remain in a catatonic state. One last jump scare from Alex's mom trying to catch him wide-eyed through the door before Gladys dies. I add another creep scare for the still motionless children just standing there, but we do see Matthew responds in a way that he turns his head when his dad calls his name, and obviously, like bookends, we started on the creep scare and we end on another creep scare as he carries his son back, the child's hands all bloody, his eyes blank, and the kid narration is back, y'all, ending with
Alex's parents are still being fed soup somewhere, but not by him. He moved to another town and lives with a different aunt. I heard that one is a nice lady. All of the kids from his class got reunited with their parents. Some of them even started talking again this year.
So yeah, that was Weapons, a movie that shows you that you can take a thin plot and work on it creatively enough to make it engaging. Watch my review of the movie if you want. Take care of yourself and remember to smash that hype button if it's available in your country, to like and subscribe to my channel for more content and improved content. I'm just starting out, guys. I'll improve my content. Send me requests on any of my social medias listed below, and I'll keep counting the scary stuff so you don't have to. Next video will be counting the latest dinosaur jump scares. I know I said that before, but I had to do Weapons first. I just had to. Stay weird, stay awesome, and see you in the next video, which, yes, will be about dinosaurs.